Good, y'all. Got the Auburn coverage coming here with Vernon Speak Sports Auburn. Go ahead and like the video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speak Sports. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger War Eagle. Auburn has a brand new defensive line coach, Nick Eason. Nick Eason, who was he was drafted by the Denver Broncos in the 4th round of the 2003 NFL draft. He played college football at Clemson. He is actually from Lyons, Georgia. Lyons, Georgia, ironically enough, down in the southern portion of Georgia, is probably a one traffic light town. And ironically, there's a city that's bigger than Lyons, Georgia, Vidalia, but Lyons, Georgia, ironically, is the county seat there. But it produced a great guy, I think, in Nick Eason, who is now the defensive line coach at Auburn. Cross our fingers. Hopefully nobody will poach him from the NFL because he has former NFL experience. And just recently, Tracy Rocker, a former Auburn Tiger coach, got poached to the NFL, and now he's a defensive line coach for the NFL after accepting the position under Brian Harsin with the Auburn Tigers. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, I really like this hire for a couple of reasons. One, he's a young guy. He's relatable. He has energy. And I think taking on this job, I think he understands the concept of the fact that you have to have your head on the swivel to recruit. And I think just given his personality, I mean, look at some of his mic'd up. Search him on YouTube with his mic'd up and how he approaches the game, how he challenges his players to perform on the next level. I think he's going to do well. He spent 11 friggin' seasons in the NFL. So guess what? He can actually coach a guy and inform them of what it takes to sustain yourself on the NFL level. Rodney Garner, yeah, I think he could possibly, do that. But at the same time, I think Brian Harsin has done a great job of bringing energy to the Auburn football coaching staff. Energy of development, energy of experience, and energy of guys that can say, hey, I have been where you're trying to go. Either you're going to follow me or you're not. And I think that's what Nick Eason brings to the table as the defensive line coach. I think, honestly, I think this is one of the more intriguing hires of the Brian Harsin new regime at Auburn. Of course, this is all potential energy. You don't know what's going to happen. But let's just face it. When you look at the totality of this staff versus the totality of the previous staff, I think you got a home run here. And I think you really got to accept the fact that, hey, you got to let this thing crystallize to the point where it could be some good stuff going on at Auburn. Do we want a national championship at Auburn in year one? Yes, we do. But we don't want the national championship or an appearance and all of these other things at the expense of mediocrity to follow. I like the idea of development. I like the idea of sustainability. And when I look at hires like Nick Eason, I think this is a guy that he's a young guy. He's a guy that knows the game. He's a guy that knows what it takes to make it to the next level. And I think it's a very, very good hire for the Auburn Tigers, considering the totality of where Auburn wishes to go. The only downside to it is, let's just say he does develop. He's a very ambitious guy. He's gone to many different teams. He's had NFL experience. He's as a coach and as a player. You got to look at the prospect of, hey, this guy might not stick around very long, but at the same time, for the first few years of Brian Harsin's regime, I think this is a good thing. And I think what Brian Harsin has to understand, and I think he does know, that when you develop a great program and you have a lot of great coaches around you, you got to know you're going to lose them. Nick Saban loses them every year. But because of his system, and that's what a lot of folks don't take into account, the system, because of the system, you're going to be able to attract new leaders, new up-and-coming leaders that will replace what you already had. I really like this hire, guys. He's very comedic. He's very relatable. And I think he's the guy. I think this is kind of sort of, quote unquote, a blessing in disguise for the Auburn fan base, because Tracy Rocker, you know, Auburn grad, Auburn great. He's at the twilight of his career, and probably didn't have the stamina to have to recruit week in and week out. But man, this dude is 40 years old, and he's going to go out and he's going to recruit some of the best to come to Auburn. Let me know what you like about this video. If you don't like it, that's cool. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle.